What's going on, guys? It's Travesty here, and we have week 1 of the UCDL, the ultra competitive drag league. So I'm going to change things up a little bit for this season. I'm going to do the battles first and then team builders at the end. So there'll be a link to the team builder down in the description if you want to go check that out. But just really quick before we get into anything, we have a Kebia Berry, Tailwind, and Namorous to try and just put pressure on the team and potentially set up for something to sweep late game. A Boots Rapid Spin Raw to Rapagos, a Scarf Bascule Legion because he doesn't really have great switch-ins, a DD 2 attacks Morning Sun Gouging Fire with a good amount of bulk, physically defensive Speedy Zarude mostly to deal with opposing Bascule Legion, and a bulky Muck for the Iron Val. So I'll see when Zach is ready to play, and you guys will see team preview when that comes up. Okay, so here with the battle, there's no Bascule Legion, which really opens up Zarude to deal with just the Ting. That can be basically my dedicated switch in. Brought the Jirachi, which I wasn't particularly sure of. It could be like AV to help deal with the Enamorous. I think I am just going to lead with my Bascule Legion because Flip Turn is pretty free. It probably brings in the Cyclozar, and then we go Enam. Probably click Earth Power on the first instance and scout out that Jirachi's investment. We're really choppy on this recording already. First time I've opened OBS to do a battle in a long time. Also no Skuntank, which I thought might come just for Zarude. I'm a little bit surprised to see the PZ. I didn't really think it was going to come because I had like between Bascule Legion and then Tarap and just general bulk, I thought I had enough to deal with it. But we do have the EVs to hopefully make it less of an issue. Mothy, cool. Leads with the Moth. We lead with Bascule Legion. I'm just going to click Flip Turn, turn 1. I don't think this is a good position for you to be in. If you stay in, you take a bunch of damage. If you go Cyclozar, we can scout out your investment a little bit. I would like to believe this is Scarf. Not seeing Booster. Yeah, he's going to switch out. That's not unexpected. That's going to be the Cyclozar for sure. Yeah. I was really tempted to go really aggressive and click Ice Beam, but probably not worth it. Yeah, that looks like potentially even max HP. Even potentially a bit of defense investment. And I think I just go into my Enamorous here. Okay, so it looks like it at least has some HP investment. I feel like because this is a switch in, it's not going to be Scarf, and we threaten the Scarf really hard. If I go for Earth Power, it does just basically neuter the regen, and it should two-shot Rachi. So I'm going to do that in case he goes Moth or Jirachi here. Yeah, he switches out. Zell, that's probably going to be the Jirachi. Yeah. Shukaberry. Cool, so that's now burned. And that took like 25. That's good, because now I think it doesn't switch into the combination of... Yes, that looks like it's got a little bit of bulk. So there's no reason for me to stay in here. I'm actually going to be a bit crazy. I could go Zarude, honestly. Because I'd rather that than taking damage on Bascule Legion, I think. Yeah, I'm going to go Zarude. It's here for the Ting and for the Bascule Legion, which didn't show up. I doubt you're clicking U-turn. You could click U-turn, and that would be bad. But because you're Shuka, we should outspeed the following turn. It just goes for T-Wave. I guess I didn't bring my Thunderwave immunities, so that's going to be annoying to deal with. Man, it's choppy on my end. I don't know what it's like for you guys. So knock should still probably kill. No, it won't. How much is U-turn doing? The fact that it's T-wave is annoying for gouging because I changed it from lum to the other thing. U-turn's not doing a whole lot. Being paralyzed is a little bit annoying. I am just going to click knock off, I think. Nothing really wants to take this. It's going to go for U-turn. Does a bit under half. So what did that bring me down to? Two. Yeah, so it looks like it's probably more physical than special. That's a really annoying para. Knocking this thing off would have been great. If I knock off an AV, for example. Yeah, so it looks like it's uninvested U-turn on the Rachi, but not negative nature. I mean, you can just click U-turn again is the problem. That knockoff would have been so good. It would have done like 60% to this thing and got rid of an item. I'm gonna go into muck here. Expecting the U-turn. Yeah, that knockoff should have done over half. And then getting rid of an AV would have been really nice. Yeah, it's just the U-turn, and that does a tiny bit of chip. So let's see. Yeah, that looks like it's barely attack invested at all. In comes Rachi. I mean, with no item, knockoff isn't doing a ton. And Zen Headbutt probably hurts. I'm just gonna go into... Nope. Come on, glitchy ass recording. Work for me here. I think I updated OBS and it's just completely fucked the input here. That's really annoying. Just gonna see if I can get a little bit more chip on this thing. Just goes for rocks. It's not too bad. So it's T-wave, U-turn, rocks, and then probably like Zen Headbutt, if I had to guess. Alright, let's try this again. Get off a knockoff, please, Sasha. We should live this. Yeah. Get a little bit more chip on the Jirachi, so now it can't switch in to Enam at all. Please hit through this time. Okay. Jesus! Okay, that was a crit. And it was AV. So you might die to helmet here. Which is nice. On a crit. Damn, that did a lot. So you're not particularly HP invested, actually. Oh, that's from the muck, of course. Knockoff on a crit. Yeah, okay. So it looks like you are maybe max HP, speedy AV. Yeah. I mean, I could just go for U-turn. Or Power Whip even. See if I catch something on the switch. I'm just going to click Power Whip. Goes for Draco. That's fine. Because now you're at -2. And we know you have Draco. So it's U-turn, Draco. I could just go into you and claim a kill at this point. Yeah, show me... I reveal the scarf. But show me your surf switch in. We've knocked off your AV. So even like max HP, this surf will kill. Honestly, flip turn kills. So I might just do that. Because if you let this go down, then surf just claims a kill with everything else. You probably have to switch it out to try and take a surf on something else. And I can get momentum back. You do not have a good switch into a surf right now. I really hope this recording is better for you guys than it is for me. It's really cutting in and out here. Yeah, he just lets that go down. Cyclozar KOs Rude. Dies to Basket Legion. So with the rocks up, I think I do want to go you and try and get a Healing Wish off at some point. That probably brings in the Rachi to get T-waved. Violet Chachki probably brings in the Moth. And I could go for the Tailwind now. I don't hate that actually, because your switch-ins to this thing are really limited. And then I can have a Healing Wish in the back for later. I don't think... So we bring in the Moth, for sure, right? If you're expecting this to be Scarf... I don't know if that was the best play. Although if you're expecting this to be Scarf, you don't want to take an Earth Power. I just don't want to give Jirachi free T-Waves on things. Twisted is going to be the PZ. So you're not download. So your adaptability. And if you're choice Scarf, we've got so much for def investment. We actually live a try attack. So I'm going to be really aggressive and click Tailwind here. On the potential agility. Because then I can Moonblast into Healing Wish. Or just 2 Moonblasts. He goes for Shadow Ball. Gets the Spidef drop. That doesn't particularly matter. So he was clearly expecting... Come on, show me Shadow Ball. So he was expecting the Basket Legion there. And how much did that do? So after rocks, we're at 75. And it brought us down to 69. So you are Spexy boy. I think I'm just gonna Moonblast here. Get my damage. Okay, that's gonna be the Rachi. This thing just dies to an Earth Power. I don't think I need to overpredict. We are below the point where we can switch in after rocks. I'm just going to go for Earth Power, get my chip, and then I'll probably Healing Wish on the next turn. Yeah. So Jirachi dies to Nem. So PZ Specs question mark. I can see what you lock into. I don't particularly need the Healing Wish. If you look into Shadow Ball, that gives me a free spin with... I'm pretty sure that has to be specs, right? Yeah, absolutely has to be. Oh my god, crit did so much. And you lock into Shadow Ball, so now we go into Tarap and we click Rapid Spin. That probably brings in the Tinglu, but that's fine. Tailwind peters out. That's really annoying timing. Okay, so he did play that really well. I should have checked my Tailwind turns. But I'm pretty sure you are specs. So PZ KO's Enam. Just going to go for the Rapid Spin here. Yeah, he switches out the PZ, which isn't the biggest issue, because we know it's not Scarfed. He's going to go into Tinglu. That's to be expected. We will just scout out the damage from this. You double rocks, good sir. Lefties? Lefties. Change the form. So yeah, it looks pretty fizz def. Because it got all the way back up. Yeah, so if it's not at all physically defense invested, then that wouldn't have done that much. Now, I think I just go Basque. Preserve the Terra Shell. We shouldn't die. Oh, we will die to 2 EQs because of the chip we took. He just well wins. That's fine. Just didn't want me setting up. What can we get into? Not gouging? Anything other than gouging would be passable. Muck's passable. It's not great, but it's passable. I mean, it's not great, is it? Your surf switching is literally non-existent at this point. So maybe I should preserve. So we know you are Whirlwind, physically defensive. I never lose to Val. I'm gonna go for the knock. Be crazy aggressive here. I don't think that does 0. Knock off the leftovers. He just goes for Earthquake. Yeah, that does about what I expected. Yeah. That's looking really, really physically defensive. And this thing isn't switching into anything anymore, so I'm just going to go for Drain Punch. Go for a cheeky Poison. And if you ever predicts, yeah, that's literally fully Fizz Def. Tinglu, that's what I expected. No Poison. He just gets up Spikes. That's fine. I just keep getting my chip on this thing. You can literally get up every layer of Spikes, because I just bring in Terrapagos and spin again. Now that I know you're not specially defensive, if I can get a Poison on one of these, then we're in such a good spot. 3 hits, 3 chances for a 30% chance. Come on, give me this. Nah. Okay. So the question is, do I just go Bascule Legion here? Because then I preserve... Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. Poison would have been so nice. Literally so nice. So I'm pretty sure this kills. And either way, an EQ shouldn't kill me. 63, that's 55. So it looks like it's a roll on max HP. I'm going to take my chances, I think. Preserving the Terra Shell Raw on the Terrap, or just the Terra Shell in general. He has no switch in, so he could sack the PZ here. Yeah, that just KOs the Ting Lu. Mothy. I don't think you can kill me. Energy Ball does a max of 280 from Timid Scarf. So I'm going to click Surf again. Could be Pasho Berry. Yeah, it's not. We are Scarfed. That's a dead Iron Moth. Alright, that's one threat down. So now it's just the PZ, which we outspeed, and the Valiant. That's going to be the Val. You're not Speed Booster. So I think I always stay in here. Surf probably won't KO. But it looks like... I mean, then Tarap just KOs. Yeah, that just kills as well. Damn, Pascal Legion just cleans up the late game. Nice. I knew this thing was a threat with a Scarf. He just didn't bring anything to outspeed it. Because we know you're not Scarf, so I just click Surf again. So that's 5-0 for Basque. Never even got to show off gouging. Terrapagos did its job and got the spin-off. That's a 3-0 win to start. With Basque Legion going absolutely crazy. Yeah, GG's, Zach. I mean, the Poison Ting Lu would have guaranteed that not being a roll, but either way, I'm pretty sure it was a roll heavily in my favor from where you were at. And yeah, like I said at the start, if you want to stick around for the team builder, that will be showing up just after this, so you can see more of the thoughts I had going into it and the spreads that I was running. But GG's to Zach, his link will be in the description as well, as you can go check that out. Okay, so here we are, the team builder. I will keep this spoiler free in case you haven't seen the battle. So you can see the team matchup below me there. Opponent can bring some pretty intense threats, most notably Iron Valiant, Iron Moth, both super scary, top tier offensive options. They have a Basque Legion of their own, a male only Basque Legion, but if that thing just clicks Wave Crash, something dies. And then Ting Lu, Jirachi, Cyclozar, Rillaboom can be really hard to break down. They're all kind of good utility mons. Jirachi could be set up as well. I wouldn't be surprised to select Power Herb Meteor Beam potentially to deal with my gouging, because otherwise it doesn't get another rock type move, I don't believe. And so it can't really hit gouging super hard. So it'll either be that or have like T-Wave to try and stop it from setting up. And then I actually think Skuntank is a potential bring here because it handles the Zarude really, really well. But I don't think the Electros or either of the 0-point mons. Tarantula may be for webs, but I'm not sure that webs are the best into me when Terrapagos is always going to be boots, and one of my other fast things in Enamorous doesn't care about them, so I'm not sure if webs is going to be the option here. And PZ, I don't think is going to come. If it does come, I'm expecting like a Life Orb set or a setup set, because it doesn't really want to lock into normal type move with Basque Legion floating about, and if it locks into a ghost type move, then Terrapagos gets set up for free. So that's sort of what I'm expecting from my opponent. A few scary options, but one important thing to notice is that their Moonblast switch-ins all take really heavy damage from Earth Power, which is going to be a pretty common theme with Enamorous. So we do have a Enamorous here with the Kevia Berry to try and take a hit from the Iron Moth. We have a good amount of special defense investment as well, enough to take a Iron Moth Sludge Wave after rocks, or a +1 Sludge Wave with no rocks up. A little bit of defense and HP as well to take a Heavy Slam from a Ting Lu. Other than that, just modest nature, speed creeping, whatever the next fastest thing is, Jirachi, speed creeping a Jirachi, speed creeping my Gouging Fire, if that makes sense. We've got the Earth Power Moonblast combo, because that just hits their whole team really, really hard, with Tailwind and Healing Wish, so it can potentially enable something else to clean up after it's kind of done the job of chunking stuff down. Because Enamorous here isn't here to sweep this week, it's here mostly to get damage on the Ting Lu primarily, and be an option to threaten out the Cyclozar, or potentially hit something hard on the switch in like the Jirachi with an Earth Power. Then we have Heavy Duty Boots to Terrapagos. it only really needs Terra Starstorm and Dark Pulse to hit things on this team, because both normal resist, being Jirachi and the Basque Legion, get hit super effectively by Dark Pulse. So we've got those two as our attack moves. Heavy Duty Boots is Rapid Spin and then Roar. The idea here is I think their strongest win con is probably a boost to Energy Iron Val, and it might want to try and set up as well. So with the Terra Shell and the boots, we're guaranteed to take a hit. We can potentially Healing Wish to, if we do get the shell burned, we can Healing Wish with an Amorous to bring it back up to Terra Shell, and then we can Roar out. And once it doesn't have the booster energy, I do have things that can outspeed it on this team, and it becomes much less of a threat. And then we're just running enough speed so that after a rapid spin we should outspeed the entire team, and then just modest, almost max HP, or modest and the rest basically in HP. We just put 4 in Spadef so that if it is a download Paragon Z, we will force it to take the attack boost on the switch in. Which Enamorous would as well, but Enamorous has a higher natural Spadef, so that's less relevant. Speaking of higher natural Spadef, we then have Muck. So this is my primary switch into the Iron Valiant, also functions as a switch into the Iron Moth. Running with the AV here, end up going with Poison Touch. I tossed up between Poison Touch and Sticky Hold quite a lot. Sticky Hold is obviously really useful into the Iron Valiant going for knockoff, or for the Rillaboom going for knockoff. But I figured the AV was not super necessary, and I'd rather the chance of getting a poison, because the main switch into this is always going to be Tinglu. And if I bring this in on like Iron Moth, say go for a Sludge Wave or something, and then I click knockoff as the Tinglu comes in, I get rid of its potential recovery, and like Citrus or Lefties or damage in Rocky Helmet or whatever. If I can get a poison, then that thing starts getting whittled down. It really opens up options for some of the other things on my team. We have Gunk Shot as the primary stab. It should OHKO an Iron Valiant with our investment. We then have a little bit of speed just to creep. Sorry about that. We have a little bit of speed to creep a Tinglu, trying to creep an uninvested Muck. And then the defense investment is enough to take 2 hits from a psychic move from a booster speed Iron Valiant, I believe. And then the AV and the 4 in Spadef means that we're chewing hits on the special side all day long. Then Zen Headbutt is primarily to hit the Iron Moth. It's kind of the best move this thing gets to hit it. I think it also gets like Rock Slide, but Zen Headbutt hits the Moth, and was there another reason to run Zen Headbutt? Oh, and the Valiant, so I can switch it, I can hit it more, click it more freely depending on which of those two I'm trying to counter at the time. And then Drain Punch is primarily for the Tinglu to get a little bit of recovery. It's not going to do a lot, but it is contact, and so if I can Drain Punch on the Tinglu as it comes in, I can get a tiny bit of recovery before switching out, potentially get a poison. Is kind of the plan with the Muck there. Then we have Basque Legion Female. This one just nukes everything on this team. With our bulk investment, we should take 2 Choice Scarf Wave Crashes from their Basque Legion, and then Shadow Ball should OHKO them, whereas if they go for Shadow Ball, it will not OHKO us because of the difference in the stats between the 2 forms. Surf is also really strong into this team, other than the Rillaboom and the Cyclizar, so I fully expect either one or both of those to come with like an AV, and that's why I have the Ice Beam, is that hits both of them. We should 2 KO an AV Cyclizar as long as it's not like max for def AV. If it is max for def AV, it will take 2, but it doesn't need a lot of chip until that's a 2-shot, or if we get rid of the Assault Vest, then it's a 2-shot. It won't be a 2-shot on the Rillaboom if it's getting grassy terrain, even if it's not that invested in HP or def, but the Rillaboom doesn't get Regenerator, so if we do get a little bit of chip on it, and then can put it in range of Ice Beam pretty quickly. We have enough Spadef as well to take, I think it was 2 Energy Balls from the Iron Moth. I'm expecting Energy Ball over Discharge, just because I do also have a Quagsire, which kind of hard walls Iron Moth, funnily enough. I mean, it doesn't have the greatest stats, but it tries. And yeah, so we have Flip Turn, try and get momentum. Shadow Ball is pretty spammable outside of the Paragon Z and the Tinglu coming in. Surf is super spammable into this team. And yes, that's just what Basque Legion's gonna do. Gonna hit hard. And then we went enough speed for outspeeding the whole team while scarfed. I decided not to risk the speed tie with their Basque Legion because of the interaction where, I do live a Shadow Ball and they don't, means that I think they're going to feel forced to switch out more than I am, and if they're not scarfed, we outspeed anyway. So figured I'd creep out of speed to get more bulk and power there. Then we have Gouging Fire, running the Covert Cloak just as a little bit of a check to like Flinch Rachi or Body Slam Rachi, etc. Also means we can set up on the Iron Moth, even if it's going for like Sludge Waves or Discharges or whatever, without really fearing the status. Their fire resists all have a defense stat of 65 or less, so it's Cyclozar, Iron Moth, and Basque Legion. Now, Basque Legion does have good HP, so it could come with a good amount of physical defense investment, would actually take hits relatively well, but other than that, Heat Crash just nukes this team so hard, and so just got Heat Crash, Dragon Claw, Dragon Dance, Morning Sun, pretty standard kind of gouging here. It doesn't do a lot to a Fizdef Tinglu, and so that's what I'm expecting the main answer to be. There unfortunately isn't really an option I can run on gouging in order to like two-shot the Tinglu, unless I manage to get a +1 up with DD and get the Sun up at the same time, and then Raging Fury or Flare Blitz would two-shot that Tinglu. I figured it was better to just try and chunk the Tinglu down with other things on my team and then use this as a late game cleaner, or a check to something like a setup Jirachi, or just, Covert Cloak is a little bit nice into a few things to let me set up a little bit more easily, and then just run through their team with Heat Crash and Dragon Claw, mostly just clicking Heat Crash, to be honest. Our Spadef investment also means we're not 2-KO'd by a Sludge Wave from a Iron Moth, so we can set up on that thing, because we are Covert Cloak and because we can Morning Sun, we can always click Dragon Dance twice in front of it if we need to. And then with +2 speed, we will outspeed like a booster speed Iron Valiant. How many times can you say speed in one sentence? Then the last one we have here is the Zarude. So this is my primary switch in to the Basque Legion. It also functions as a switch in into Tinglu. And just generally with the physical defense investment, yes, it's taking a lot of damage from U-turns, but it's actually not 2-KO'd by like U-turn from Cyclozar or Jirachi. It will take a lot from like a Rillaboom, so it wouldn't be a great switch into that, but with this investment we also do live one hit from the Iron Moth from full, so like a Sludge Wave for example. If it's not special attack boosting item, then we'll live one if we need to. We can get a Stomping Tantrum. This thing's kind of like here to be a fast pivot. Mostly it's going to switch in and click knockoff. We've got the Rocky Helmet to try and rack up the recoil damage on the Basque Legion, because if that does click flip turn a few times, we can really get a lot of damage into it. And if it clicks Wave Crash basically once, then it's in range of a +1 gouging Heat Crash. So really don't need a lot of chip until that thing is within range, and so Rocket Helmet does let me get that chip really easily. It also does punish things for just spamming U-turn into this mon. We've got the Dual Stab, Power Whip, and Knockoff here. Knockoff we're just going to click into pretty much everything. Power Whip is just nice to do a lot of damage to the Tinglu if I need to. It should be a 2-KO on a specially defensive set, but on a physically defensive set it'll do about a third. But that's again enough to just put it in range where it can be two-shot by the Gouging Fire, for example. And then Stomping Tantrum is there to try and catch something like the Iron Moth or the Skuntank on the switch in. It's a little bit hard, it'll depend on how the game is going, whether I predict things or not, because like obviously if I click Knockoff into a booster Iron Val, then that doesn't do a lot, but if I click Power Whip into that, it does like 70%, so it's not a super safe mon for them to switch into. We've got the same kind of speed creep here, we're creeping the creep on gouging, and then mostly physically defensive, just to try and take banded adamant wave crashes from the Basque Legion. So that's going to be the team. If you want to go back and look at the battle, you can go back to the start of the video, but if you have already seen the battle, I'm going to spoil it in 3, 2, 1. So yeah, really solid 3-0 victory for us. Basque Legion, like I said, they didn't have great switch-ins to it, and once Cyclozar went down, Basque Legion just wrecked shop. A bit unfortunate with the crit on the knockoff into the Cyclozar. They didn't get full powered on the previous knockoff, which would have, those two things a little bit cancel out, because then I could have gone for like a U-turn on it and gotten something else in and potentially yada yada yada. We play the whole game differently at that point, right? Either way, Cyclozar takes a lot of damage from that interaction, which is all I needed, because if it was just in range of 2 surfs, then I was always free to click surf. And they could have still preserved it if they wanted to by switching it out and getting the regen. Instead, they let me claim it with the Basque Legion, and once I did that, Basque Legion just ran shop clicking surf. So yeah, that was pretty solid. Next week we will be facing Mario, who has a pretty spooky Sun team. So it'll be interesting to see what he decides to bring into us. And I hope you guys are looking forward to that next week. In that case, I'll see you then. Bye.